Hello and welcome to the spring edition of FB Update. I'm Ernie Birchmeyer. When one stops to think about our state government, our structure, and its funding, you can't help but admit that we've got problems. Well, your Farm Bureau organization is tackling that challenge head on. This past year, Michigan Farm Bureau set in place a Government Streamlining Task Force to look at and come up with solutions to our state's many problems. With 86% of the state's general fund being utilized in corrections, education, and health and human services, a Michigan Department of Agriculture budget that has been cut disproportionately over time and has had attempts made to merge with other state departments, and our statewide budget predicated on a manufacturing industry that no longer exists, we all realize that something must be done. In this spring edition of FB Update, we will visit with Farm Bureau leadership, we will talk with outside coalition groups, and discuss how we can fix the problem. Sit back and watch, listen, and learn, and think about solutions as we discuss this important issue, the state of our state.
A lot of us have known that things were bad in Michigan for a long time. The problem is most of us didn't realize how really bad it is, and it's critically bad. In 2009, the Board of Directors established a study committee to look at the situation, to look at things and decide where we go from here with this situation. How do we tackle the problem we have in Michigan with our economy and our state budget? That study committee looked at a lot of things. One of the things that we looked at to begin the conversation was to just consider what the role of government is. What's required by our Constitution, what's required statutorily, and then what are the perceived roles most of us see for government. We know that the pattern of cutting and taxing is not going to solve the problems that we have. The problems are fundamental, structural problems that need to be changed. In 2009, then, that committee did their work, sent their work onto the State Policy Development Committee. Policy Development Committee did their work and sent their recommendations on to our delegates at state annual meeting. From there, went back to the Board of Directors as policy, and the Board of Directors, realizing that counties were going to need to be engaged in this process, established a committee with county presidents to decide how counties would be engaged in the process and help solving the problems and the challenges that we have.
We came up with three specific ideas. One was working with the upcoming election, given the legislative turnover. One immediate effect we wanted to do was touch base with our present representatives. And thirdly, we really wanted to make sure that the MDA was a standalone department, that it stayed intact, and we felt that was the best way of representing agriculture and keeping our industry together. So that was the onset from President's Council, was to challenge the presidents to go back and develop relationships with the representatives now and talk about budget issues and ask the tough questions, what are we going to do? And also at the same time work with our candidate evaluation committees and start the process of surfacing good candidates and getting behind them and supporting them through the summer and through the election process. And hopefully through the next election term that we would stick behind them and make sure that when politically tough questions came up, that we were behind them and supporting them all the way.
The government streamlining issue is a monumental task. In order to solve this problem, it is imperative that we reach out and join forces with groups who have similar interests and similar ideas. One such group is the Michigan Chamber of Commerce.
Well, we think it's a great fit from our perspective in the Michigan Chamber. So many agricultural businesses across the state face the same issues that a tool and die manufacturer or a small business of any type faces. It's about regulation. It's about government creeping into business decisions. It's about tax burdens. It's about trying to find a way that we all work together to make Michigan more hospitable to business. So they're enablers of jobs. We don't need government in the way of business. We need government to get out of the way and let business create the jobs we need here in Michigan.